セガサターンシロ
What's up, everybody?
Welcome to the SHIRO show.
That's right.
Well, come on in.
Welcome to the SHIRO show.
showtime.
SHIRO. Now
Saturn
you got me
showtime.
saying SHIRO show. SHIRO. It's Saturn Dave,
Shiro.
Danthrax, and Trainer Co. Welcome to the SHIRO show. We got Wiener Bob first. Wiener Bob's he like waits and he's always first. He's like Sega.
Nice.
So we got Wiener Bob. We got Stone
He
Man.
stands at attention, Dave.
I know, right? He was waiting last night. No, I'm just kidding. That's okay. Let's see. Pat, you cut it out. Anyway.
I like how it took you a little bit.
It didn't take me a bit. It just took me a bit to say something. Okay, Stone Man, Captain Hawden, Neil Henderson, Scotty Moe. We got David Zaney, Tales of Saturn, Paul Bort, Dragons of Saturn. Tales of Saturn and Dragons of Saturn. We need a netlink match between those two. See which one reigns supreme. No,
That should be a Saturn of Saturn.
we got our mod Shadow Mask. We got
Did we shout Eddie G?
Yeah, Pudgy. Pudgy's there. Thanks, Pudgy, for doing Dan's video. Nathan Anderson, Dan the Mega Driver. Hey, the Mega Driver's here. What a treat. So you got Dan the Mega Driver here, and of course James on the Sega Guys account. What's up, guys? Analog Black Sheep. You got Stuart Stapleton, Moose Tracks, George Howe, and God, who else? Lee Benson. 37 people already here at the beginning.
And
Albert,
Chronally, and
everybody.
Con Artist, J Rock 424, Eddie G, Slowcoin, and Trevor Student, and Sasquatch. Welcome, everybody. I'm probably going to have to stop doing. If we keep getting more viewers at the beginning of the stream, I'm just going to have to stop doing this. We'll have to be like, hey, everybody, you're here. We love you.
Everyone's here.
Yes.
We'll talk about only people we care about.
But I like to shout folks at the beginning of the stream because that gives folks a little bit of an incentive to be here right at the beginning.
Yeah.
They can get their names
Let
read.
us know they're here and say
Absolutely. Hi. What have you guys been up to? Better week this week than last?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Doing better, Pat.
Yeah. Doing okay, better.
Okay, better?
I had to contact a company for charging me for something I didn't have, so.
Ooh, that's always fun. Yeah.
So, yep, gonna get that sorted out. Yeah. Besides, that's pretty good. Just working on stuff. Trying to think. Did I have any pickups this week? No real pickups.
Same here. Boring.
I'm looking at cars with my sister though on Saturday because she totaled my old car that I gave her. So we're gonna look for a new car. Yeah, she actually got an accident buying a present for me. Funny enough.
Oh, jeez. She's okay though.
Yeah, she's fine.
That's good.
She was okay. She just shows like, oh yeah, by the way, your car's destroyed. By the way, it's like, yeah, kind of figures much.
Jeez.
So. R.I.P. my Honda Civic.
Wait, your sister did that?
Civic, no less.
Yep.
Your sister, dude. High five. We both have sisters who totaled our cars. Like I let my sister borrow my car in high school to go return a video to Blockbuster, and she totaled it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brother.
And I'm just like, okay. So yeah, that's funny. Now one more thing we have in common. J Rock 424.
Was it the one I drove in with you? Was my old white one she had.
I don't know if Derek's here with us. Derek A Team is in the chat, but he's the one who did the Jung rhythm thing. We'll talk about it.
Here. Yeah,
Frogbull's here. He just showed up. Hey Frogbull, how's it going?
He just showed up on some Crash Bandicoot thing.
We've also got James from the Sega Guys in voice chat. James, say hi to everybody real quick.
Sorry, he's not allowed to.
He's not allowed. He's muted.
Banned.
He's banned. Oops.
Banned.
What did he do to
James.
Okay, sorry, James. Anyway, moving right along.
Banned. Just joking. Get on the mic if you're there.
He's probably in the bathroom or something like that. He's like, oops. Yeah. Wasn't expecting that.
Guys, mate.
I put people on the spot. I put people on the spot. Anyway, okay, so no pickups for anybody. What even?
I do.
No, you
wait. Dan's
went straight to Pat. Asking him how he was doing. So
okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
The floor. I have one little pickup. Since Bust a Move is kind of the flavor of the week here because that's our current Netlink tournament game. I got Bust a Move Deluxe for the PSP.
Really?
It was at the exchange. It Did not come with a manual, but that's okay. It was only $6.
So it's like a Switch game. Doesn't come with a manual.
I
I'm
don't
used
know
to
if
that.
It originally did. It probably did.
It probably did. It's a PSP game.
If
Yeah.
it was a late PSP
Right.
release, it probably didn't.
Just saying,
Probably.
pretend it's a
Honestly,
Switch game and
really?
it's not
The
a big
late
deal.
ones didn't come with manuals.
Yeah, I think the late ones didn't. I know that
Okay.
the last one I do remember getting is Peace Walker. I think that actually was the last new PSP game I bought was Peace Walker, and that did come with a manual. So
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe it didn't come with it. I'll have to do a little research. But anyway, so I thought that would be a fun little pickup. I like my PSP.
Yeah.
I like getting a little collection of games going for it. So you know what, Bust a Move or Puzzle Bobble is one of my favorite puzzle games. So I was like,
how do you feel about Bust a Groove?
I haven't played it, so I don't know how I feel about it. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, Bust a Move is cool.
Play
and
Bust a
while
Groove,
I
people.
have the floor for a moment, I will say that what I've been up to this week is a little bit of playing Netlink games or X-Band games, if you will, and being frustrated by it occasionally because Dave, you had a tournament match against Pudgy Bunny.
Yeah.
And it was super slow. Like, it looked unbearably slow.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
I was watching you guys play.
Yeah.
And then, she hopped off, and I played Bomberman with you, and that was playable, but it's also very slow. And honestly, you were the only opponent that we've had where it's been super slow. Every other game I've had has been smooth as baby's bottom. And so I don't know what the problem was. But after that, you suggested, well, maybe try like a better computer. So we hooked Tony's computer up instead of using the little netbook that I use for watching myself stream and stuff.
Right.
And so we have to play each other to try that out. But when I did that, I didn't realize that when you switch what device is running the tunneler software, you have to then go into your router and change your port forwarding to that computer from the other one. I did not know that.
Yeah.
So I was trying to, on Wednesday, I was trying to get Rink Rat going. I don't think he had gotten like a game going yet with the X-Band. With the modem, and so I was trying to do it, and we couldn't get it connected, and so we thought, maybe he was having a problem, but no, it was me. It was me being stupid and not changing the port forwarding. So, later that night, I had a match against Joe, Sega RPG fan, who, as luck would have it, is the expert in the tunneler software. And so when I told him what I did, he's like, "Yeah, no, you have to forward your ports to that new computer."
Yeah.
So I just
all the ports.
gave him
So whatever.
a long sigh and said, "I'll be back. I need a couple minutes."
Yeah.
And as soon as I changed it, then we were off and running and we were good to go.
Right.
Yeah,
you have to forward the tunnel to any. So if you switch, if you get a Dream Pi and you switch to that, then you'll have to change the forwarding to the Dream Pi. And basically, whatever device is you're connecting with, that's the device that you have to forward to.
It makes sense. If you
But
think about it.
but
And I didn't think
you're
about
not
it.
alone. I mean, half of the time, I would say half of the time, the problems that we run into with the Netlink online stuff is just brain farts, where you're like, oh god, I forgot to plug it in, or oh god, I forgot
between the keyboard and the chair.
Or exactly, air between keyboard and chair.
Called
Exactly.
Exactly. So that was the issue here. So I'm sorry. It was really
no worries.
frustrating me.
Dan and chair.
But you also have to understand too that it could be completely. Some of these things seem completely anecdotal, and the day and time that I connected with you and Pudgy just could have been not good. It's like because it's funny. Other folks have had similar situations where they connect and it's terrible, and then they connect with somebody else and it's great. So unfortunately, it's hard to nail it down to a perfect time. I guess you could if you're doing it when everybody else is asleep. That could probably help, internet traffic being less. But I mean, again, kind of anecdotal, because you could do it in the middle of the you can have a tournament in the middle of the day and have it go perfectly fine. So I don't know.
Well, when I am able to actually connect and we have all our ducks in a row,
Definitely.
it has been fun every time.
Yeah.
And it's been super smooth aside from the games against you. After I played against you, I played against Double Dime, who is in Ohio with me, a couple hours away. Elsewhere in the state, and we played Sega Worldwide Soccer 98. And that ran great. It felt like it wasn't even an online game at all.
Yeah.
Mind you, it was the first time I'd ever played that game, and I don't know how to play soccer, so he kicked my ass
Yeah.
10-1.
Yeah.
And my one goal was accidental, or football, if you will. My one goal was
we got
accidental.
Europeans in the chat. We can't say football.
Right.
Else
Wait, who was this? Who was it
They know
that
what we mean.
beat you at Worldwide
Double
Soccer?
Dime.
It was
Double
Double
Dime.
Dime. Yeah, well, I mean, he's gonna
meant to
beat you at
pass the
everything.
ball.
That guy's gonna
really?
beat you at it. Yeah, he's like one of the best gamers. And why do you think he manages the online tournaments? Right? You know? No, just
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay. he destroyed me.
he
I meant
knows
to
though. He's
pass
got
the
patches
ball.
to prove it. He's got the patches to
Yeah.
prove it. You know?
Well, I was gonna say I was gonna pass the ball and I accidentally hit the shoot button,
Yeah.
and so I shot from like center field, like
Right.
the very middle of the field,
Yeah.
and somehow it went in the net.
Yeah.
That was my one goal.
Yeah.
I'm like, amazing.
Yeah. I'd be that. I'd be that
so-
guy too, scoring on a lucky goal.
What was weird was after that, and this added to my frustration, was like, we clearly connected successfully to play soccer. And it went fine, aside from me getting destroyed. And so I'm like, I don't want to play that game again. Let's do a different game. And like every other game we tried, we could not connect to each other, whether he dialed to me or I dialed to him. It made no sense. Nothing changed. I don't know what, and we eventually just gave up because it was like well after midnight. But the next day, I connected to Joe, RPG fan. We played Puzzle Bobble, played our match. Then I was like, you want to play something else? So we played Decathlete, which I had never played Decathlete before. So every time I'm asking him, I'm like, how do we play this? What do we do? What do I press?
Yeah.
We were playing because it's in Japanese too, so there's only so much you can figure out. But so he got his revenge.
Fun of Dan for
Definitely,
I'll
I'll go head to head with you, Dan, because our skill level on soccer is probably the same.
Okay.
Honestly,
Sounds good.
like going up against Double Dime, that's just that's brave. I will say, shouts to Double Dime. Like, everybody's good at something, but that dude is just like ridiculous at video games. Like I'm good at graphic art and stuff like that. Like, I have my strengths and weaknesses, but Double Dime is just he's just a good gamer. Like, I don't know what else to say.
I have it over him that I beat him at Virtual On. So
you did beat him at Virtual On, because that's like your wheelhouse. Like, that's your game, But I will say, Double Dime needs to go up against Dan, the Mega Driver, because the Mega Driver, like, I saw him playing soccer against James, and he just completely routed him, like completely. Yeah, it was ridiculous. So, like, I think he might have a rival there for the soccer.
Nice.
Yeah, I need to line up some more rivals for Virtual On, because I need to spank both James and Dan.
Yeah,
I did play Virtual On Wednesday night online.
And
it was not my first time playing it at all, but it was the first time playing it online. And it ran super smooth. I played against Rink Rat. We played Virtua Fighter and Virtual On. So that was a good time. Both of us were trying to figure out how to play because it had been a while and we're not that familiar with Virtual On. I was like typing to him on Discord. I'm like, oh, hey, if you press like the XYZ button, you jump. And so he started jumping too. Neither of us were jumping for like the first match.
Yeah, I love this comment from. I love the comment from Frogbull. What soccer exactly means, by the way. Why call football a game where you handle the ball without your feet? I mean, you punt it. You punt it. That it's ridiculous that we call it.
You do kick the ball sometimes in America.
But you pretty much throw it.
And to be fair, soccer is not something Americans came up with. The British came up with the term soccer, and they brought it over to America. And then they stopped using soccer to make it seem like we thought it up. And everybody could laugh at us. But no, it was really the British. They came up with it.
Oh yeah, one of my
British once again sneaking behind enemy lines and destroying something of ours.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There was the White House. Now it's football or soccer.
Good point, Pat.
Peter, our own Peter, is in the chat, and he said, "Dang, I need to get a modem." And yes, Peter, it's on the top of my priority list. We need to send you a live modem so that we can get you connected too. Fun fact: Nick Pandemonium got his modem kit this past week, and we're going to get him set up too, and so he'll hopefully have coverage of Netlink rally in his video, just in the nick of time, right? Hopefully.
Yeah,
we'll see.
That's funny.
Shoot, I gotta record a couple lines for him for the video.
I know, right? Yeah, I just did that this last weekend.
Okay, we all need this weekend. We all
I
need
did it.
resolve.
I did it. I'm good. I'm ahead of you guys.
I just want to scream into the microphone, just be like, ooh.
don't scream, but yeah, we need to record our lines this weekend so he can get that video out. It's a long time coming. The Patreons are going to be complaining at us because it's going to be our fault for not recording.
If we can get a middle finger in chat at Patrick, be like, get the lines and stop delaying the new Panda video, you losers.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, at this point, it's completely on Dan and Pat's shoulders that you guys are not getting your Sega Rally video.
It's been delayed so long. That's the only reason.
We're sorry.
It's all your fault. Hey, every 50 people that are in chat right now, if you could just take a second to give us a thumbs up, that would be great.
Or a thumbs down. And, you don't have to if you don't like it, we take criticism.
And we can roll right on into the news now that our background music has stopped.
Okay.
All right.
Is that our timer now?
That just happens to be. It just worked out like that. That our background music just faded out.
I can't hear it.
Nice.
Yeah,
it faded away like me someday.
You'll just have to take my word. What was that? It faded away.
It faded away like me someday.
How far back do we have to go here? We talked about high velocity. Okay. Yep. There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Jung rhythm, or as Pat would say, Young rhythm. Carl Jung rhythm.
Carl Jung.
Young rhythm.
That was good.
Yeah, that's good. This is a Dantrax article, so
go. The thing is that I thought it was Jung. I didn't know it was Jung. Because I didn't know it was a shortening. I read the article. I was like, oh, it's a shortening of jungle rhythm.
Yep.
Which makes sense because like that's actually there's like the jungle dance with the girl in the class.
Right. So this is a Dantrax joint. Go for it, Dan.
It is.
Take it away.
So English-speaking Saturn fans are dancing for joy now that there's a translation patch for the console's only fully fledged, if I can talk correctly, music rhythm game, Jung Rhythm. It was made by a team that included Derek A-Team Pasquarella, who did the programming and the hacking, Wired Crackpot, who translated it from Japanese, Shadow Mask, who worked on audio and video replacement, and Malenko, who created the translated graphics.
The great Malenko.
The great Malenko, yes. It's available at A-Team's GitHub by clicking where it says the latest version of this patch is 1.0 in the README. I put a little screenshot there in the article because it can be kind of hard. Like, I don't know if it's anybody else like me, but when I look at a GitHub page, my eyes glaze over. Like, I don't know where to go to actually, like, get the thing that I've come there for.
Well, the thing is that I'm a programmer, so I've been working with GitHub for over 15 years.
Yeah, not everybody has.
They should. Everyone start learning programming.
Yes. But for those who aren't, yeah, he has it behind this little like 1.0 link. So just click on that and you'll download a zip file that contains two versions of the patch. One of them is if you're using the X Delta patcher, and the other one is if you're using Night of Dragons Sega Saturn patcher, SSP. So you're set either way. A-Team announced the patch's public release Saturday morning on social media after he and the team only spent about a month working on it. Viewers of the live SHIRO show got a sneak peek at the patch last week when our own Pat Tranoco tried out a not quite full final build. So we've got a video there. On the SHIRO Discord server, A-Team detailed some of the things that he did to hack a translation into Jung Rhythm, including implementing single byte encoding to fit more English characters into tight spaces. What's up, Dave?
I'm just laughing at Pat blowing kisses to his own.
And I'm nodding. I'm
Dan can't see what's actually playing on screens
because I'm reading. I'm in another tab.
You just keep reading. Just keep reading.
Okay.
Yeah, keep going.
So Derek said, I'm doing mass pointer reallocation for Jung Rhythm. Had to do it for Death Crimson 2 as well. Once you map the pointers out, it's not so bad. So Jung Rhythm, which is likely a shortening of Jungle Rhythm based on the game's header file, the main character saying jungle in a Japanese accent in the main menu, and some other instances of the word throughout the game. Has players press button prompts on screen in time to music in a similar fashion to a more famous PS1 rhythm game, Parappa the Rapper. There are occasional freestyle sections in which players can input anything, but the best play is to input one of the finishing moves in main character Vanilla's arsenal.
Or like I do, just smash all the buttons at once and just make her sound like she's talking in tongues.
It worked for you because you kept passing songs. I'll tell you what, I played this patch a little bit and I could not beat the first song. I was keeping the wow meter like up high. It was at the top. I was like hitting almost every button, but it's still like when the song is over and like the meter would rise, to see if you actually passed it. It would come right to the bottom and then stop.
I'm gonna do that. Sorry.
Thanks.
Thank you. I don't know who that was. Anyway, so come right to the meter, go right to the top, and then stop right before I'd actually pass it. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Maybe I'm supposed to freestyle better. That was
Freestyle better, Dan.
Yeah, but anyway, this is a pretty cool and unique game for the Saturn. So by all means, check it out. And if you have trouble like I did playing through this game, you can check out all of the English captioned FMVs in the game because they have been uploaded to YouTube by Derek. So go ahead and check that. We've got a link to that in
You know
our
what the one thing I want Shadow Mask to do? This is me throwing him under the bus because I want to give him more work and basically stop it, Dave. I want
Dragons of Saturn asked me to do that, so there you go.
Okay, well, we got to please the fans. Anyways, I kind of want the songs, but with what's her name's voice in it, because like the if you download the songs, it doesn't have her vocal samples and it's just like the background music, like the lines that her sing. So I really would like the songs like cut, but it's like with her singing on it. So I don't know how possible that would be. That'd be kind of cool, but yeah. The thing is that the issue that I had with the game is that it's not like one-to-one with the rhythm. So like you, me, or Dave will play by the rhythm, like Guitar Hero, like other games. Yeah. This one you actually have to
go by sight.
Yeah, you actually have to hit the button right before.
Yeah.
And like you have to be right on time or a bit late. It's really weird.
I have to admit, that's a criticism that I have. Like I love the idea of this game. I love the look of it. I would love it. Like I really want it to be just Parappa on the Saturn, but Parappa feels really good. Like Parappa just feels like right in the pocket in terms of playing a rhythm game. Like you can close your eyes and just play it and hit every note if you're just listening to the music. But this, Pat is exactly right. Like I was watching him struggle on the stream and I was like, yep, that's jungle rhythm. Like you basically have to stare at the screen and just like time it perfectly because it's just weird, and it could be like the fact that the tracks are like not localized like English music tracks. They're like Japanese spoken, and some of the rhythms are kind of frenetic, and so I don't know. Do you know what I mean, Pat? Like,
yeah, I think the issues that Shadow brought up is that basically when you hit the button, it plays the PCM sample from memory, or plays the PCM sample from memory. So maybe there's some lag there that they tried to, but it didn't. But I know what you mean. Like, it's not one-to-one.
Right. It's weird. You can't play by ear and feel. You got to play by the just sight, basically.
That'd be cool, Shadow. Just add the PCM from I don't know how hard that would be. That sounds hard. So I was only joking with you doing that. But if you do that, that'd be cool because I actually really like her voice in the songs.
Right, but I mean, Slowcoin says it's much better on a CRT, and Pat on that stream, Pat was playing on a BVM with like component video. So I mean, you can't get any fast.
It doesn't get much better.
It was RGB.
It was RGB. Okay, RGB on a BVM. It's not going to get any lower latency than that. So yeah. But yeah, it's you still did okay, but you were definitely focused.
If I was playing on the Retro Tank, I would not have passed that song. If I was back to playing the Retro Tank, that would have not happened.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because what the Retro Tank is what? Well, the Retro Tank is actually pretty fast, right? All things considered, but even that has like a tiny.
There's still input lag.
And if you're playing on a pound cable, which is like 8 frames of lag or something like that, forget it.
Don't even bother.
Don't even bother playing the game.
No, just be prescient.
So here's the thing. This game is popular, right? I mean, the Dan, you put it on co-host, right? And there's a bunch of people that are excited about it, right?
It blew up.
Imagine the number of people out there who are gonna try to play this and they're rocking like pound cables or level height cables. Like that's gonna be
getting a pounding, all right.
That's gonna be a rude awakening. But
honestly, that's the thing is that people, it's fine. Like, the pound cables work for me. It's like, I guess for some games like RPGs, but once you get to rhythm games or time-specific games, you're going to be struggling. I know Dan had the same issue with the Sega Rally, right, Dan?
Yeah. Sega touring car.
Yeah, touring
car. It did feel better, and I was able to get better times when I switched to a CRT.
There's a ton of games though. I mean, there's a ton of games on Saturn where you don't need it. Timing is not essential. Any of the puzzle games or
The
strategy games like Shadows of the Tusk, visual novels.
You can play Sakura Wars no problem.
Mahjong, virtual casino, all that stuff you can play, and timing is not an issue. But for the games where it's like it's all about timing, you really have to have, it makes a big difference to have a CRT.
And the things that it's not us being elitist, being like, you got to get a RetroTink 4X and high quality video. It's just the reality of it. We're being real with you that you're gonna struggle. But
it's it's that we know how good the game can be, and we want you to experience that. But we know that you're not going to experience that, and you're not going to experience what the developers intended if you're playing with like a level height cable, for example. Because
so we're no way asking, get a BVM or get a RetroTink 4K. Like you can just get like a Rad 2X or the old 5Xs, or even just like a CRT, like composite. Like we're not going to complain if you play composite.
So is it safe?
If you really want to, yeah.
Is it safe to say that Derek has the bug now, like the Saturn patching bug?
The Saturn patching bug.
And that's a happy day for me because like dude's hella prolific. And he works fast.
Adam Corlick, he's ours now.
Dreamcast, you guys can find somebody else. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, to be fair, I love all the stuff that he's done on Dreamcast too.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's pretty much, I love Derek, and everything's a day one download for me when he puts something out. So I'm just so glad that he's, broken into the Saturn stuff now too. So we're very fortunate, and what a great guy too.
I like J-Rock's comment. I played it on my old 1998 CRT like God intended. That's pretty good way.
Very nice.
I go OSC to CRT. That's also pretty valid. David Zaney.
Yeah, OSSC, very very fast.
Like I said, there's not a lot of wrong ways to play it. It's just that if you're gonna have less enjoyable things if you do pound cables or like laggy solutions like that. But like I said, it's no way telling you to go get that.
Let's talk about Peter's latest. Best of Saturn, Mega Man X3.
X3.
And for such a huge franchise, it's surprising that Mega Man X3 only saw Saturn release in Japan and Europe.
That's weird.
Perhaps it being a straightforward, visually bordered port of an SNES original, coupling with being a 2D game, kept it off North American retail shelves. Nevertheless, the game is vintage Mega Man and well worth a play for fans of the series. The Saturn port features a new arranged soundtrack as well as FMV cutscenes that also introduces load times not present in the original, so it's a trade-off there. Of all Saturn Mega Man games, this is the only one ported up from a previous console generation. So that's an interesting detail as well.
This one's a weird one. It's a European exclusive and a Japanese exclusive.
Right.
That's what Dave mentioned.
Yeah, and I did like a repro of this because it was one that I wanted for my own collection, and I'm glad to have done so while I was still doing that stuff. But yeah, it is like it's definitely the one where I would say like most folks who are going for Mega Man on the Saturn will either go Mega Man 8 or X4, and X3 doesn't nearly get as much love because it's just an SN. You could just have the SNES cart and probably be just as good. But I mean, you do, like I say, you do get that arranged soundtrack and the FMVs, so that's cool. And it's a bit of a trade-off with the load times. But if you guys are rocking a Saru, maybe that's not an issue. Who knows,
That's true.
Right?
It's really good.
Yeah.
I recommend trying it. Like, it's still really playable and a lot of fun. Like, it just has some weird issues here and there. But yeah, definitely fully playable. My question is, here's one. What's everyone's favorite Mega Man X game?
Ooh. Like I would just say X4 because that's the one that I'm have the most experience with. Why would you like X2? X2 is good.
I'm just trying to figure out what you like, because I never knew what, like, the Mega Man games, it's always like Mega Man like 2, Mega Man stuff like that. Yeah. But there's never like what X game's the best. It's usually I like playing X because that's all I played. Like, I just want to see like where people lay on that, like, because my favorite's X5, but I know a lot of people hate that one, but I like it just because it removes the worst thing from X4, which is the awful voice acting, and still has some really cool cutscenes and music's bopping, and everyone in the game, all the bosses are references to Guns N' Roses, so it's like, can you get better than that? I say no.
Well, Chronoli said in chat X and X4 in that order.
Yeah.
I see. That's valid.
Kalesmer
said
X2.
X2, yeah. You know what's really fun is on DS they released the X games as like double packs, you know, like where they bundle the games together on a cart, and then they also I seem to remember like you could get them separately or you could get them as like a compilation, like the Mega Man X compilation.
Was the X games are the original? I thought the Legacy Collection was only Mega Man original games. They didn't X one for the DS?
I can look it up, but I'm pretty sure, like I'm almost positive, unless somebody wants to help me out in the comments. It was the Mega Man
Zero collection on DS, Chronoli said.
Was it the Zero? Oh, it was the Zero collection. Okay, I'm completely. So where did they do? Where did they release like an X collection?
They did the X collection on PS2.
Oh, okay.
But they also did one recently for new that's on Switch and PS4 and Xbox.
Yeah, like modern console.
There was the Mega Man Anniversary Collection, PC. Which is 1 through 8 on GameCube. They did the Legacy Collection, which is the originals on DS.
Right. Okay,
and they did, it's really weird. They're really stuff for that. I really want to get the X and collections on the Switch though, because the X games are like my favorite in my opinion. But I'm biased because I grew up playing Mega Man X5 and that game is bomb.
How do you feel about Mega Man 8 on the Saturn?
It's one of my favorite Mega Man games.
One of your favorites? Yeah. And it
has the best opening Japanese theme.
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Frog Bowl says Mega Man 2 is greater than everything.
Mega Man,
good old Mega Man 2.
I don't know. Like, you can't say that. That's like saying, oh yeah, the second Terminator is the best one. Of course it is.
Right.
But, I mean, there's still validity for the first one, so. See Mega Man 8. I like Mega Man 7 a lot. That's probably one of my favorite, probably my second favorite Mega Man original game.
Still, I will say all of these games we're talking about, 8, X3, and X4, they're all like ridiculous expensive. Both on the US long box and the PAL copies. Like, not cheap games at all.
Absolutely.
People just not really buy them at the time, so they're kind of rare, or what?
Like,
Mega Man was kind of at a low point at that point.
Probably both. Yeah. It's probably like a combination of low print run and high demand because everybody kind of loves Mega Man. You know, like in hindsight, you know, like Mega Man's a popular franchise. You know, so it's like, and it's Capcom.
The PlayStation ones aren't hard to find.
Yeah,
like the PlayStation ones you can get for pennies on the dollar. Like
definitely
maybe $20 to $40 for each for X4, 5, 6, and then Mega Man 8. Like it's pretty cheap on the PlayStation, so like I don't want to say that you have to get it on the Saturn. Really, if you really want to play on the Saturn, it's just because you like the lone box or really like X3. But like,
or you just love the Saturn.
Yeah, or you love the Saturn. Yeah.
Right.
Like I said, I'm honestly not sure if I want to buy the. I love Mega Man. The things that I don't know if I want to do, well, like I did for Magic Knight and get a physical box copy unless I find a really really good deal for it.
Right. But if you're somebody who loves Mega Man, I can understand it, just like Pat dropping almost $1,000 on Snatcher. Like I can understand how you would want a long box of 8 or X4. It's just like
it is exclusive content. That's right. I forgot about that.
That's true. Hey, another Assault Suit Lenos 2 article. It's out. Tell us about it.
Jeez, you sound exhausted, Dave. I can stop writing about Assault Suit Lenos too.
I think you will after this. Oh no, wait! You're gonna write you'll probably write like a review article after this. No, I'm just kidding. Now I'm gonna give you a hard time, Dan.
When it physically comes out in the West.
Okay,
so
do
be
it.
Warned. Strap in.
Tell us all about it.
All right, I would love to. So
I will roll the video, so you don't have to wonder whether it's right behind you. I'm rolling it.
Okay, good. It's only a minute long now. I got that. I pulled that video off of the Steam page. So, Assault Suit Lenos 2 Saturn Tribute released worldwide Wednesday in digital storefronts as well as in physical form in Japan. It's the latest in a line of emulated Saturn games that publisher City Connection has brought to modern platforms in the last few years. In the U.S., Lenos 2 can be bought for $25 U.S. from the Xbox Store or for a launch discounted price of $22.49 from Steam. It's also available on the Japanese. Yeah, it's also available on the Japanese eShop, PlayStation Store, or Xbox Store for about 3,000 yen, although the eShop is selling it for a launch discount of 2,682 yen. Yeah, and I did like an exchange rate thing, and it's like 3,000 yen. It comes out to, what is it, like $18 or something, and they're charging us, or $19, and they're charging us 25 over here. Like, that's a serious ripoff. It's like 20%
cash
more
for the English.
25% more. I guess maybe that's it. I guess you could say that. And we'll get there. Okay, so City Connection announced last month that the game is being delayed on the Switch, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5 in the West, so that another publisher, Clear River Games, could handle physical versions there. Clear River is a Swedish video game publisher established in 2020 and owned by Embracer Group. When asked whether there was any news about Lanos 2 in their Discord server, a Clear River representative said Thursday, "No news yet, but hopefully soon."
Hopefully.
So there you go. That's the best we've got from them. They don't even have it on their website as an upcoming game. So.
A question from JRock424.
Yeah, what's up?
Has the game been translated on Saturn? I thought the answer to that was no, but this is a translation that could inform one, right? Like this,
or they could just pull it out. I think
that's kind of what we're hoping. Yeah, I think that's what we speculated on last time. Is like, okay, here's a translation now. Maybe somebody from the community can like rip it and then like just do it.
Yeah. So as I was going to get to this, the Xbox and Steam versions have been translated into English as well as Korean, and also traditional and simplified Chinese. And you can access the original Japanese in it too. They seem to have hacked the translation into the game. It's not like an overlay or anything. So that's some extra effort. They've actually never done that with any of these Saturn tribute releases. They've always just been like they either already were entirely in English, like Elevator Action Returns, or a North American release existed for them already that they could release again, like Galactic Attack, or they simply just released a game with its Japanese intact that wasn't required to understand the game when it wasn't required to understand the game, like with Cleopatra Fortune. It's a puzzle game, so you don't really need to read anything.
It would have been nice to get that one game that was that with the hentai block one.
Sushi Pie. Yeah,
Sushi Pie in English. That would be nice.
Yeah. So the use of artificial intelligence to machine translate media from Japanese is a hot topic in recent days, but that doesn't appear to be the case here. The in-game credits list Chilok. Chilok is probably how it's supposed to be pronounced. It's like loc as in localization, Chilok,
right,
as the company responsible for English translation. It's handled mostly German localizations up to now, including for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Octopath Traveler 2, and Persona 5. Its owner, Manuel Chiagano, is listed as Lanos 2's localization manager, and Timothy Horst is the translator. Lanos 2 also lists Chris, I'm going to attempt to pronounce his name. I don't know if this is how it's pronounced, but Chris Knigge, also known as Chris, here we go, Taka Ankuk Knigge, as the editor. It's worth noting that Chris got a special thanks in the 2021 bulk/fan localization patch for advising the team early on about casting.
Really?
So yes, no, I didn't just put it in the article lying. Like, yes, that is true. How
am I supposed to know?
Because it's there. You just gotta trust me.
Oh yeah, totally. How do I know you're not making that up? It's not like you were involved in the game and all, right?
Right. Yeah. How would
trust me, bro.
Yeah. Well, Lacquerware knows Chris. They're friends. So that. Why
don't you try pronouncing the middle name, Dan?
No, I did. That was the thing I butchered. I'll do it again. Takuka Ankuk.
That's pretty good, actually. That's probably as close.
Thanks. Maybe. Anyway, so the human touch shows in Lanos 2, with character dialogue displaying personality and sentence structure feeling natural and not stilted. So congrats to them. You know, it pays off to have English translation by human beings instead of, trying to just run it through Google Translate and calling it a day. And you know what? I went back and looked at some of the screenshots that they had initially posted showing the English translation that they're going to put this in the game months ago when they first announced this. And one of the early lines felt really like it sounded bad. I don't have it in front of me, but it sounded machine translated, or at least very raw. It may have just been a raw translation that had not been localized yet. I don't know. They were just testing out hacking it into the game. but the line is completely different and sounds much better now. Because I did buy this game this morning.
Oh, cool.
To check it out and take some screenshots. One of the screenshots in the article is taken from the Steam page. I believe it's that first one under the video. But the other 3 that are on here, the 3 lower ones, I took all those myself today on the Steam version. So there you go. Yeah. So I thought that it looked really good. They translated an in-game manual, which uses the Unity wrapper to display it. The emulator allows you to have rewind, quick save, and quick load, and it also provides some cheat-like options in Lanos 2, like boosting armor, shields, and energy. So that's nice too. So yeah, this is just a little background. Saturn Tribute is they're the Saturn games, the Saturn original games running on what City Connection calls the Zebra engine, but data miners have found that appears to be a modified version of the SSF emulator, which has been around for years for the public to use. City Connection appears to use the S Tribute label. Now, this is new news to me. I just found this out today. The S Tribute label is for Saturn games that are only released digitally, while games like Cotton 2 and Suchi Pi have gotten physical printings, at least in Japan, so they sport the Saturn Tribute label. And this particular one, Salt Suit Lanos 2, is getting a physical release eventually in the West, and it has a physical release right now in Japan, so it is called Saturn Tribute.
Nice.
They also use branding called Saturn Tribute Boosted for games that feature extra things, extra features that aren't in their other Saturn efforts. They've only used that for one game, which is Batsugun last year. So there you go. Shout outs to GSK on co-host and on Twitter or X. He let me know that on co-host that that's what the S Tribute is supposed to mean. They use that when it's just a digital release only. It was just kind of coincidence that like all of their S Tribute releases had also been Taito games. I guess Taito just didn't want to pay for physical printings. They thought there was enough demand, so they just kept them digital. I don't know. But yeah, there you go. Interesting.
Cool.
So this is 15 games now that City Connections, 15 Saturn games that City Connections put out on modern platforms.
Saturn's our future.
Revived. Yeah, and this is the very first one that has a new official English localization added to it. So I think that is awesome.
That's excellent.
I hope that they keep doing that, because I mean that's like adding serious value to it. That's not just like, okay, well, it's available to modern audiences who aren't messing around with emulators and don't have their own Saturns, which there's value in that it's easily available to audiences now widely. But for those of us who play Saturn games, we already have these games, or we can, just obtain them and play them on our Saturns. But we can't get a copy of Lanos 2 with English translation in it. Now, someone did ask in our Discord server, like, okay, can you take do they still have like the bin in the queue files for the Saturn game of Lanos 2 sitting on your hard drive, and can you just like throw them in an emulator, play them on your Saturn? There is a bin in a queue file sitting there, but when I tried to run them on emulators, they completely failed, just threw up an error. So, and when I opened up the queue file, normally when you open up a Saturn's queue file in like a text editor, you see in plain English, it just writes out what all the tracks are for the game and maybe their length, and it says that they're a binary, so that the game knows how many tracks there are and where they are. And so that's why you have to click on a queue file and not like a bin file when you're running a Saturn game, because it's got to look at that queue file and know all the tracks. If you just click on track 1, it's only going to know track 1. So if all the other tracks are like music, they're not going to play. It's just going to be silent.
Did you try an satiate or something like that?
What? No, I haven't tried it on real hardware yet. No, I have not. But considering they don't run on emulators, I don't think it's going to run on a regular Saturn. And because, as I'm about to say, when you open the queue file that comes with Saturn Tribute Lanos 2 here, in a text editor, it's a bunch of garbage. It's gobbledygook nonsense. It's not actually readable English like a Saturn would be expecting to see from a queue file. So it's, just from that standpoint, it's going to look at that, and your Saturn will probably just stay at a blank screen the whole time and never actually play it. So
what they rewrite it.
Yeah, well, what they probably did was they encrypted it, which makes sense. They're selling this and they don't want us to pull it out of there and just start throwing it on our satiators or our fed rears or whatever.
Might even be a stipulation of the release.
Right. It may have been in the contract that, hey, you've got to do some kind of security to this. So it makes sense.
Could you send me the directory? I'll buy this and I'll check it out myself. Can you send me the directory where that file is located and I'll take a look at it?
Like if you buy it?
Yeah, like just send me what the directory where you found that BenQ, and and just send it to me in plain text after the show, and I'll buy it and I'll check it out and I'll see if I can do some finagling.
Okay. Yeah, like Night of Dragon had suggested, well, okay, maybe when you're running the game, it's got to put like a decrypted version of it somewhere on your computer, so do a search for that. I didn't have time to do that, so who knows? Maybe eventually we'll be able to, pull that out. But I mean, either way, I hope that people do support this release and actually buy it from them.
Definitely.
Because I think that getting a new official localization of a Sega Saturn game in 2024, and it's not like part of some remaster or remake that is almost unrecognizable from the original, or is, not actually the original Saturn code. Like, this is actually the localization of a Saturn game that we just got, almost 30 years later. That never happens. This is this the first time? I think this is probably the first time that's ever happened. So, I mean, I think that we ought to try to support it. For those, I know people say, okay, $22 is a lot for an old game being emulated, and I understand that, but I mean, localization also costs something. Like I listed out the people who worked on this, on the localization. They also, the credits mention programmers, and they probably were the ones who were sitting there toiling away at hacking a translation in. I know what that's like. So all those people deserve to get paid too,
Agreed,
so
yeah.
I don't think it's unreasonable. Maybe the price is a little high and you want to wait for a little bit of a sale. Although I will say City Connection, I've never seen them put a game on sale for more than 20% off on Steam, unless I'm forgetting. If they did, it was maybe 30% off. Like, they don't do like super deep discounts like you see with a lot of PC games. They pretty much, they want their money for these Saturn games.
I will say it's a lot cheaper way to own the game, own a retail copy of the game, as opposed to picking up, Japanese import
Saturn disc.
But yeah, so definitely, support this company. They're gonna keep pumping out more Saturn games, and it's definitely making Saturn accessible to a lot of folks. In this case, adding collateral value by giving us an English translation. So great article, Dan. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
and I agree with you. I agree. This is one that folks should pull the trigger on.
Oh, it's only $55 for the original. That's not bad.
Oh, is that right?
That's not bad at all. No.
Is that where it's hovering around? Like, okay,
that's what
40 to 55 for the Saturn original. Oh, that is a good. I will say though, that is a good deal. It is a good game. It won't be that way. It won't be that cheap forever. So it
was fun when I was trying it out. It was
definitely.
Hard. I couldn't get through the first level, but it was pretty cool.
I will I guess preface this next one, but I'm gonna have James come on the mic and talk about this. But as folks may know, we've had Netlink modems go out. Dan just got his. He's been playing around with his, and thanks to Knight getting those building those line voltage modems. And
David Zaney says that his son says hello to David Zaney's son.
Hello,
thanks for watching.
David's son. Yeah. But thanks to Knight, thanks to Joe, for doing the tunnel and making it possible. And then, thanks to our good fortune finding these modems online,
we're still hunting too.
We're still hunting. Yeah, we're keeping our eyes open. We want to try to grow this community as much as possible and add new members to our tournaments, because that was really like the impetus for all of this. Was just Double Dime came along and he showed a lot of dedication in organizing these brackets and holding these tournaments, and on top of that, it's like we have more people joining the Discord all the time. We felt like it was a good idea to add like a new large batch of players to our community. So we added 20 new netlinkers to our community, and 2 of those were the Sega guys, who are they
a lot
are
of views tonight. We're at 63,
Patreon.
dang.
They are Patreon supporters of SHIRO. So these modems went out to folks who support us through Patreon at the $10 and up level. And so they got a couple of these modems and they've been messing around with them. So James, are you available to talk about this article that you wrote up?
Hello.
Hi.
How's it going from the UK?
And Dan's here, the Mega Driver.
Oh,
Yeah, we're both
nice.
here.
Okay, great.
Nice.
Excellent. So take it right away. I will scroll as you talk.
No, this was insane. As I said in the article, like we had a kind of brief kind of test run after I had tried a game with yourself, Dave, and ping rates were like 146.
Yeah.
I'm like, this isn't right. This is ridiculous. So the next night we went on, but we went on later. I'm talking about like almost 10 p.m. and everything seemed to go really, really smoothly. The ping rates we were getting were between like 9 and 14, 15, maybe 20 at a push. Whenever the games were actually connecting, if you read the tunnel, it was maybe jumping up to 50, 56, but the minute the game actually loaded, it went right back down between like 9 and 14, 15 again. So
Wow, that's
like,
crazy.
Sega Rally is the only game. It's not, as I said in the kind of video and in the article as well, like Sega Rally, it's not prohibitive to playing it. It is like a bit of input delay on it, but the frame rate looks exactly as it runs offline. There's no difference at all. And if you know that game and you know those tracks, and everybody who's in the chat and who watches this and you guys played Sega Rally enough, you know the layout of the tracks, you can sort of plan ahead a little bit to kind of compensate for that. It doesn't take away from the enjoyment. But like you said earlier on, man, like Dan kicked my ass at World Wide Soccer, and I couldn't even blame lag because there was none.
No,
it's
he destroyed you.
One of the games that you guys were playing was a football game.
Yeah,
of course.
We're British. We got to.
Honestly, I do want to add, I think there's a lot of folks who wouldn't notice with Sega Rally. Like it would be perfectly fine for them. But folks got to understand, like James, he's kind of like a savant at Sega Rally. Like he knows exactly where he should be at every moment in the track compared to the other car, the non-player characters on the screen and stuff. Like, and he knows the feel of the tires and stuff like. So anytime something's off like that, you're gonna know, because you know that game like the back of your hand. I think most folks probably would play and it would be perfectly fine, But yeah, like, to somebody who's that sensitive for Sega Rally, you do notice that it's like slightly different. But I mean, again, like that's what they had to hack these games, right? They had to hack in this support like after the fact and kind of, and you always knew that there was going to be at least 1 or 2 frames of lag with the X-Band service because you're having to like send the button presses back and forward, But yeah, so anyway, keep going. Dan was talking. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I did,
but I totally did.
We had to play a football game because we're British. But look, they've been transformative. They're absolutely amazing. Now, these are things that we never ever saw any sign of at all over in the PAL regions. You had the Netlink over in the US, and that they had the Sega Saturn modem in Japan. But I don't think these were even rumored to come our way. And the fact that me and James are playing each other in the UK is incredible. And Dave, that James was playing you at Sega Rally just before he was playing me.
Yeah.
These things were never designed to be played, across continents.
Right.
Yeah. You know how expensive that would be if you did that? Like that's like easily
long distance. Yeah, with a phone
easily
line.
a couple hundred if you did that on the regular.
It's crazy to think though that PAL territories didn't get it when like you move on to the Dreamcast era and online was like a really big part of your guys' campaign, for the Dreamcast.
Finland or something get
yeah, like that was weird.
Yeah, they got, like, it
was like a strange test
demo.
market or something. Yeah,
test market.
But I mean, the PAL online play for Dreamcast was like huge in the PAL territories, right? Didn't they even try to like say it was like 6 billion million? What did they say?
We all like to play games.
Yeah,
that's right.
You know what the rarest thing though about that is that is that you guys are probably the only people in the entirety of Europe, or at least the UK, that has an American dial tone used between your two devices, because it's getting triggered by the dial tone, the United States like dial stuff. So it's just kind of funny that it's like an American system brought to the UK, so you two can play games over it. It's just kind of funny to me.
There's a few other UK players in our community, I believe. I'd have to look at the list.
There are the rare few that have
like
that.
Isn't Agnostic X and
he's in German.
Oh, he's Germany. Okay. Yeah, I'd have to look at the pinned list to see who it is, but I think there is a couple.
Yeah. The thing I like the best about
Oh, Man of Stone. That's right. Man of Stone
invited me to it. There is a PAL or a European Netlink group on Discord, which
awesome.
I've been invited to now. So
nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting games with anyone who wants to play anything. I'm just eager for more Netlink, man.
Yeah. So in our
Netlink junkies.
You guys have been added. You guys have been added to the Netlink roster in our Discord. So anytime you do @Netlink roster, you're gonna ping everybody who has a Netlink. And if you do at East Hemisphere, then you're just gonna ping folks who are in the Eastern Hemisphere, like yourselves in Europe and whatnot. You'll be able to ping just those folks to be able to see if anybody's up for a match. And I have to say, like, with the community growing, it seems like folks are able to find a match pretty quickly. You know, somebody's sitting around and willing to play a few rounds, you know, of whatever. So, you know, if you're willing to deal with a slightly slower connection, just go Netlink roster and match up with whoever. You know, I mean, like James and I had a fun Sega Rally match, even though it was admittedly, like, you know, you could tell that it was slower than it should have been, but I mean, it was still fun, and we were like neck and neck most of the way, although he still did beat the pants off me. But I'm going to rematch him soon. We were playing the Japanese version, which Joe, Sega RPG fan, tells me that if you're close or you have a good connection, the Japanese version is the one to play. But the US version is more tolerant to distance and lag, so we might have better luck, you know, playing the US version. It's just, and that's one thing I will say, like, for folks who get into this, you will notice, just like Dan has, that there's a lot of anecdotal, like, variables in each situation when you're connecting with folks, and sometimes you just have to try things, you know, and see what works best.
Reboot your computer and you know, unplug your router and plug it back in. Turn off the Saturn, turn it back on.
For the most part, for the tournaments, oh, go ahead, James.
That's what I was saying. Look, we recorded like the full 2 hours that we were on, and that full 2 hours unedited is going to go out to our premium members, and it's going to get out to SHIRO Insiders as well.
Nice.
And what you'll see there gives you a really good idea of a night on Netlink. You know, basically, like, you'll see the failed calls, you'll see the
a lot of cursing.
Freezes. Yeah, well, no, I swear whenever I'm playing anyway, so it doesn't.
It's so gobshite, I can't play it.
In the name of Christ, was that Pat? Come on, man.
Seriously, right?
It gets worse every time I do it.
No, as you said, Dave, it's like, if you're going to come into this, it's like, don't come on expecting, like, and I still think it's super smooth given the age of the technology, but like, as I said in the article, don't come on expecting Xbox Live.
Right.
Like, it's going to have glitches, it's going to have errors, and you just need to live with it. It's 30-year-old hardware. The work that Joe has done on the tunnel is remarkable. The help that he gave, not just myself and Dan, along with Dave. You know, you were on a Discord call with me while you were doing dictation notes in the Discord chat to Joe to give me answers. I'm like, what other community would do this? You know, it's like, it's just, whenever you get into it, just realize that you're getting a system that works, and when it works brilliant, but you are going to have a bit of patience at times as well.
I mean, Pat and I promised when we got these things, we were like, we will provide support. We will make sure that you get online by hook or by crook, you know? And it's funny because some folks, it, like, 15 minutes and they're up and running, and it's like everything goes to plan. And then other folks, it's like 2 hours of banging their heads against the wall.
And it's like, oh wait, you have to go into it has to go into the phone in, not the line in.
Yeah. So I mean, it
like,
really just depends on your ISP, your router, because not everybody's working with the same hardware even. That's one of the reasons why Joe really wanted to kind of focus on DreamPi support, because then everybody would kind of be playing with the same setup. But it's nice to have the PC support as well, because then, more folks can do it, and at the very same time, Knight is working on another solution that'll basically just allow folks to use the serial port on the back of the Saturn and hopefully just send out all that data from serial to USB, that would plug right into your... Sweet. So I mean, this will continue to evolve, and we'll continue to see it grow, just like we did from early days. 2016, 17, when it was VoIP, and we saw it change from VoIP to the tunnel, and like I say, it'll continue to grow and change. But what's really rad is that we're doing this on real hardware, right? We're not emulating. This is like a 30-year-old Sega Saturn playing online, and I mean, you can't do that on PlayStation. You just can't, like.
Sony didn't even emulator. Like, it's really the only way to, play your mates across the country. Play Virtual On or Sega Rally, and that's the thing I liked about your guys' video, is that it felt like that it was two dudes in an arcade playing a game together, like side by side at the cabinets or in the cars, like making fun of each other or roasting each other. That's what I like about it, and that's what I liked about your video specifically.
Yeah, I love seeing you guys have fun with it. And I can't wait to have some rematches and challenge you both. And Danthrax here. I'm definitely going to do.
We find out conclusively if it would be possible with the Saru cart. I think it would require a lot of modifications, and probably really is not possible with the infrastructure.
The question is regarding whether Netlink would ever be possible with the Saru cart.
Yeah, doubtful.
Like, there's no concerted effort right now to address that. What there is on the Saru cart is a footprint for a USB for a USB connector, right? And hypothetically, if they were to reprogram the ST micro, basically the microcontroller, if they were able to reflash that or reprogram it so that it did have like USB serial data out, you could solder on a USB connector there, and it would be possible. It would be hypothetically possible, given the elbow grease and dedication from somebody in the community to do it, to essentially get Netlink games working that way. But when I talked to TPU through his colleague on Twitter, he basically said they're not putting the cart before the horse right now. The only thing they're focusing on with Saru is commercial game compatibility, because it's just not, even that's just not there yet. So, I mean, Saru questions at this point, that's going to be the answer for like the next year, probably, is just commercial game compatibility, because it's still so early days. Even though folks have adopted one over the past year, it hasn't reached that like mainstream saturation yet. It's getting there, but it just hasn't, but it's a good question. And so I think right now the way to go is like Fenrir or Satiator, or even mode, and you get a X-Band cart or a Netlink cart, and get yourself online, anything else?
It's a rough thing. Like I said, I wish there was a better solution than buying a bunch of used Netlinks on Yahoo auctions, but a bunch of X-Band modems on Yahoo auctions, but that's really the best option at the moment for people. But the thing is that before you had to buy a VoIP modem, so this is significantly less headroom and price a
lot easier
pricing than before. It's like you had to get the modem.
It's still very still kind of cool though. Like, obviously, like, if it progresses and do away with the need for the actual X-Band or Netlink, but there's still something pretty cool about getting that Japanese packaging through the post and
I know
slapping that cartridge in. It's just, I mean, Dan, like, whenever, I think it was Virtual On was the one that impressed us the most, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It's just from the very moment that we went from the character select screen, and it was just like, well, this feels very responsive. When we got to the got to the screen, and yeah, there was a bit of swearing in how insanely responsive it was. It was just mind blowing that a game that says as complex as Virtual On was running and was as responsive as it was. So
now you guys
impressed the most.
You guys got to get yourself some twin sticks. Do it now while they're still cheap, right? 40
I've
to
got one, actually.
Oh, you have one. Okay, so James needs one.
Nice.
I was just looking at Yahoo Auctions. I saw one for like around $40, and it was in the box too. So like, you know, if you grab yourselves 2 twin sticks, then you can really be, you know, that would really be a whole, that would be another video. That would be another fire video. But I got to say, like, I'm just glad we got those net links over to the UK, right? Because it is a shame that you guys didn't get it back then, but you're making up for it now. And so we've got UK players online with their Saturns now, and they're a part of this community. And yeah, we're just super happy to see it. So
shout out to Malenko for $3.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Go.
Shout out to Go Goal. Yeah, you know what? Just real quick, what that is referencing, Malenko had actually, we were like talking in PM the other day on Discord, and he was talking about how like Go Goal was like a really impressive game for the Saturn. Like it runs 60 frames per second. It looks really good. Is it high res mode possibly? I forget, but it looks great. And so I was like, oh, I don't even know anything about this game. And so I tried it out, just like loaded it up real quick, and like, yeah, it is. It looks really good. So yeah, Go Goal, another good soccer game. Unfortunately, not online, but
yeah.
Hey,
go ahead.
While we're on the topic of the Sega guys and their video content, big thanks to them for making a video available to our Patreon patrons this week. I think it was yesterday they put it up, where they had a nice conversation with Sega Lord X. The Sega guys and Sega Lord X had a collab video, and that's available for Patreons right now for both the Sega guys
on the
and
Patreon, or
SHIRO.
just in the Discord?
It's in the SHIRO Insider on our Discord, but we could definitely post it up on the Patreon as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. In the very least, it's in the Insider channel on our Discord server. But yeah. So yeah, thanks for that. That's super cool.
Absolutely. Oh, and James discovered something else that I want to mention. So for this actually this applies to folks who are messing around with Saru and stuff, or any carts in their Saturn, because there's been some debate in our community with like Night of Dragon has been talking about it, and even Trekkies Unite 118, who's like he's emphatic about the fact that the cart port is not as much of a villain as we've all kind of made it out to be over the years. Like, it has a terrible reputation. The Saturn's cart port has a terrible reputation, yet he feels really strongly that it's much more dirt and oxidation on the edge connectors of the carts themselves that are to blame, and that if you're able to properly clean those carts before you use them, and mind you, I would still not recommend that anybody uses some really crappy third-party like Game Shark carts with the super extra thick PCB that's not beveled. Right. That's going to totally bork your cart port no matter what. But if you're using the OEM backup cart, or you're using an Action Replay, what James noticed is you can take a pencil eraser, which has, I don't know, a little bit of it's just a slightly bit abrasive, right? Very slightly. But you can take that and use that to clean off the connectors pins on the cart, and that worked really well. Like he cleaned off a cart, popped it in, then it worked first time, even though before that he couldn't get it seated properly. But like after using a pencil eraser, it worked perfectly. So that's a cool kind of like DIY hack that folks can give it a shot. Just like be gentle, and I would say use some isopropyl alcohol to clean off any dirt, and then just go over it with like a pencil eraser.
Yeah, and do not use Brasso. I see a lot of people
no
Brasso. Brasso. Do not put Brasso on your things. Just like
no,
absolutely. The only reason you should do Brasso is if it's borked, it's broken, you can't do anything about it. It's like, well, it can't get any more broken, so might as well.
I don't even know. Like Brasso, I use those on my cymbals for like drums, like to polish my cymbals. I would never use Brasso on on these electronics, but
it's some people recommend that.
that's
like, I've seen a lot of
crazy.
people.
Okay, wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, but Bob's been preaching the truth about how to only use that as a last resort. Like, it's not recommended, but if it's not working and it's borked and you can't get it working no matter what, like, and it's even after like recapping all that, then you use it. But that's the last resort when you just give up.
Yeah, but Knight. So like, go ahead, James. Did I step on you?
So, no, it's fine. It's just about that point about cleaning the cartridges. It's something I think this actually proves that it was the cartridges, not the slot. Because remember, I had said that my 4 megabyte RAM card, my official one, I had to always lift it up a couple of millimeters, and obviously my netlink wasn't being detected. We went into Saturn Bomberman on the US side. You know yourself, if it gives you the netlink screen first, then it works. But if it goes straight to the FMV, then you know that your X-band or your netlink hasn't been detected. But whenever I noticed on the PCB on the netlink, there was a kind of cloudy kind of material, almost between the pins on the kind of the gaps between the gold pins. So I took that kind of eraser and kind of rubbed it. It didn't come off with a cloth, but the eraser took it off. And I tried it the same thing with the 4 meg RAM card. And when I was taking the eraser over it, like the black marks that were being left on the eraser were quite startling. But the netlink or the X-band modem, no matter how many times I take it in and out, it works first time every time.
That's awesome.
The 4 megabyte RAM cartridge has gone back to needing lifted up 2 millimeters to work.
Yeah, the RAM cartridge is mine. It's an official one, right? The Japanese one.
Yeah.
I have the same issue with mine. Yeah, it's the same issue with mine. Like, I cannot get it to work. I have 2 different RAM cartridges. Cannot get them to work. Clean them, didn't work. Put them in, didn't work. Even the Saru first time, Netlink pretty much first time. Like, honestly, the way that I think I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna be like, if I want to play the 4 megabit cartridge games, I'm just gonna load on the Saru just because I don't want to.
Just load them. Let's lift it up. Like, I put it right in and then just tweak it up each side.
I tried that too. That didn't work either.
No.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Like I told James, and again, this is anecdotal, but this was my experience. Folks who do this Netlink stuff, they know and they learn pretty quickly that the first thing you want to check is that your Netlink cart is actually seated properly, because it's like, if it's not seated, it's not going to click, it's not going to dial, and you'll be sitting there like just banging your head on the wall, right? So that's the first thing. You want to make sure that it's properly seated in the slot. And I had it perfect for James, right? It was perfect. We were playing. A day goes by and I go to play Dan and it's not seated correctly, but I haven't touched my Saturn. So I'm thinking it could just be like the weight of the cart combined with like night and day cycles of it getting hot and cold. Maybe just sitting there.
Messing with you.
No, like literally nobody touched the Saturn. Nobody touched it. It wasn't seated when I went to play Dan, and I had to take it out and, pop it back in there and try to get it seated properly. And I never even touched it. So I'm just thinking like, the expanding and contracting of the metal combined with just how heavy the cart is sitting in that slot might have been all it took for it to become unseated. So all I can say is, folks, and I'm repeating what Trekkies has been really emphatic about: clean your carts before you stick them in that slot. Basically, try to clean your carts and make sure you're always using clean carts, because Knight of Dragon, when he was doing these modems, they were all new old stock, and they worked first time when he popped them in. So it kind of,
the pad nifty disc, not so much.
Yeah, the pad nifty disc, not so. What happened there?
Yeah, honestly,
things got gross.
Yeah, like I said, I think there was maybe there was a bad batch of it. I checked my pad nifty disc in mine; it was perfectly fine. I think maybe, and then Derek checked his, and he had issues
pad
as well.
Nasty.
So. Yeah, ours had this like horrible creamy white layer of something on the underside of
I got kind of excited when I
like
dang. Discs.
I'm thinking it's just the plastic. It's like the plastic is like corroding or like falling apart.
Yeah.
It's probably the manufacturer of it. It's like the laser rot. Like in the laser discs.
Bunny used like a wipe for your glasses, like has a little rubbing alcohol in it.
Yeah.
And she was able to mostly wipe that white stuff off of the underside of the disc. There is still there a little bit. but like a lot of it did come off just with an alcohol wipe.
James, you got it off, right? What did you use?
On the Pad Nifty disc, I never touched it, mate. But that same material was what I noticed that it looked like.
Oh,
is
okay.
what was on the PCB. That kind of white. We're talking about, Pat, I can see you twitching, mate. You're biting your tongue. You're doing well, mate. With all these puns, honestly.
Yeah, the thing is that it's funny when I see Dave doing that, but I'm respectful with guests. I don't make sexual puns, but I don't need, like I said, I don't want to,
Yeah, rip me though, rip me.
Exactly. Rip. Listen, I'm just saying though is that I don't know why everyone got excited about Pad Nifty and got cream all over it. That's a little bit. Actually, my favorite thing is
I don't know if we were excited. We were concerned, maybe.
Yeah,
a little off
it's just
foot, not excited.
I think the funniest thing is I see people call it like they call it Pad Nifty. Someone kept calling it Pad Shitty, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much it.
While we're talking about it, and I'm gonna change the topic to something a little more appropriate.
No,
Nifty was and is still a company in Japan, and they ran servers, and they collaborated with Fujitsu and like the floppy disk drive on the Saturn, and so Pad Nifty was literally like a almost like a communication software, right, that you would get. Yeah. And then there was also Habitat 2, which also ran on the Nifty servers. That was a server that existed, right? And those disks, they call out to that server. And I just think, that's another thing that who knows, there's some smart folks in our community. If somebody really wanted to recreate that server, I mean, you've got folks doing like the Silverant or the Stack servers for the Dreamcast stuff, right? You've got all sorts of different servers, fan servers for the Dreamcast stuff, right? I can imagine that some, really smart Saturn fan or Sega fan could probably hypothetically recreate that Nifty server and find a way to hack those games to get them to call out to a proprietary fan server, and then we could have, Saturn, we could actually, like Habitat 2 is basically like a social networking platform on the Saturn, where you have an avatar and you have chats and you have, rooms and forums and stuff like that. Well, so, yeah.
What we really need to recreate servers for is Dragon's Dream.
Dragon's Dream.
First console MMO.
Oh my God.
I like the Habitat one because, I think we should, honestly, I think if they get that sorted up, I think Dave and I should cyber on it.
Yeah. The reason I say Habitat 2 or Pad Nifty I would think would be much more doable. Dragon's Dream would be like literally the most monumental task because it is text heavy and it is all in Japanese and oh my God, and it was cross-platform too. But yeah, so I don't know. Somebody reached out to Pat and I with they picked up a PC version of the game and they were like, I'm gonna try to reverse engineer it from the PC side and see. And we haven't heard back from them in a while.
I'm guessing it's
you should reach out to them.
Definitely,
you should poke them a little.
Yeah, I should.
Should we?
We should move right along.
Should we move on?
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Sega guys. Appreciate the article and the video.
Yes,
and
thank you.
Yeah, it was delightful. I'm looking forward to more stuff from you guys. Last but certainly not least is a member from our own community.
Well, it's not quite last. We have a surprise.
Oh wait, do I need to?
I just want to shout out to Salty Dag.
It's not live yet. Okay.
Before you, I just want to say Salty Dag said thanks for Jung Rhythm video. Such a cool game. Especially the final song. Yeah, no worries. I like doing that. It was a fun game.
Absolutely. Okay, so penultimate then. Second to last, but certainly not least, is an article care of Chronolay or Con Artist from our own community. And he's helped me out quite a bit on some of the streams that I've done and everything. And so he sent me this article about his childhood and memories of Sengoku Blade. It was never, he talks about never really being the best at video games. His siblings were always much better, but like a lot of his best memories are just sitting and watching his siblings kind of tear through games and kind of, he came to just love shmups, I guess, as his favorite genre. But even he admits that it's not, he's not like the best at them, but they're still like his favorite genre and that it's a huge piece of his childhood. Playing, I guess, this cabinet that was called Tengai, I guess, in the West. You know, there's this arcade cabinet, and it was the westernized localization of Sengoku Blade. It was called Tengai in the West, and he and his brother used to play that in the arcade, and then, you know, subsequently he was at the legendary Berryessa flea market in San Jose. I guess a really prominent and popular flea market
like
that I guess is not the same anymore, he says. But he met a guy there who was like a regular, he frequented this guy's booth, and he had a copy of he mentions getting a Shining the Holy Arc disc for $5 and a mission stick for $15. So that's awesome. The guy had quite a bit of Saturn stuff. He noticed a copy of this game with this well endowed.
Very what was it called? It's the Sega Memories.
Yeah, Koyori or Miko, the Shrine Maiden. He recognized that artwork on this game and asked how much. He wanted to see if the guy would. The guy wanted 25, and he tried to negotiate for 15, and left empty-handed. He left empty-handed, but then his brother, I guess, who knew a thing or two, was like, "Dude, you realize that this game is like 140 on eBay, right?" So he had his brother.
How even back then it was that
right?
much.
Yeah. So he had his brother drive him right back to the flea market so that he could pony up the $25 and pay the guy for the game, and he alludes to the fact that the dude knew how much it was worth, but he was just, you know, selling it for $25. So he got a copy of Sengoku Blade for $25. Now it's like a $250 game on eBay for folks who don't know. So I mean, you know, he paid 10%.
That's a good price.
Yes.
And I'm just surprised it was so expensive even back then.
Right? I mean, I guess, you know, because today? It was a shmup. You know, I'm guessing because it was a Saturn shmup. Those things just tend to, you know, and it's a pretty good shmup too. Plus, it could have just been it could have been the cover, you know, that made it more in demand.
The Saturn Memories.
Right. So anyway, but needless to say, a few months earlier, he bought an action replay from the same guy. In anticipation of one day picking up Radiant Silvergun, a story for another time. So that'll be another article from him, hopefully. And just playing Saturn in their tiny apartment was playing Psycho games, especially this one, was pure bliss, he says. And he just talks about, you know, childhood memories and a special shout to and prayers to the family of Mohammed Sheriff, who was the dude who he bought all this stuff from, who was actually tragically murdered. And I linked the story. This dude, was murdered on his way home from the flea market. So
that's really sad.
But yeah, I mean, it's sweet that he puts the memorial in there. And no, it's really interesting hearing folks. Everyone has kind of like different memories of how they got into the Saturn, how they came to it, and so I find it really really interesting. It's a really interesting read. It's not too long, so I recommend folks check it out. And shouts to
just went up on the site today.
Yeah, I will do a quick refresh, and then we'll see whatever Dan is hiding from folks.
Dan hiding.
It just went live.
All right, refresh.
Let's get the notification.
There it is, right there. Okay.
Oh, what is that?
SHIRO taps digital pinball titles for May Community Challenge.
There you go. Surprise.
Let's go.
That's what we're all going to be playing next month.
Let's talk about it here.
Pinball.
Oh, I like
at least one person guessed it in Discord. They were like, you know what? You guys should do Necronomicon or something. Do one of the pinball games. That would be awesome for community challenge.
So is this going to be both Necronomicon and the other one, or is this just...
Yeah.
I thought it was just Last Gladiator. Okay, you guys decided to do the duology. Nice. Okay.
Yes.
Is that going to be like the refresh? The mid-month refresh will be Necronomicon. Is that what we're doing?
Well, let's,
okay. Dan's going to talk about it. Okay.
Okay, so the contest runs May 1st through 31st. You do have to do photograph evidence to show your scores. Weekly score attack challenges will take place over the last 3 weeks of the month, each devoted to a specific Necronomicon table. So scores for Arkham, Cult of the Bloody Tongue, and Dreamlands tables will be accepted in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th weeks of May. And then the month-long score attack will be on the 4 tables of the Last Gladiator version 997.
Oh yeah, 9 point. The
or
point,
9.7.
9.7.
9.7, but I mean, I think they named it that because it came out in 1997.
It came out in 1997.
So, yeah, those who don't know, Last Gladiator originally came out in 1995, and I think that also came out in PAL territories too, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a Japan-only kind of like update to Last Gladiator came out in 1997,
right?
And it's called Last Gladiator version 9.7.
Mm-hmm.
That's the version that we're going to be playing. Not the original Last Gladiator,
because
it's a month long.
Yeah, because it's basically the same engine as it's the same basic framework as Necronomicon. You have all the tables from
came out in between those two in 1996.
Right. Yeah. So they use the they use like the. I mean, it's good that they're doing that because if they're playing both of those games, it'll feel the same to folks, basically, essentially. You know, they'll be able to play it the same. It'll just be the Last Gladiator's tables, but with like the Necronomicon physics, you know, and control. Yeah.
So like when you do like the weekly score attacks in the certain Necronomicon tables, it's going to almost feel like an expansion of what you've been playing for the month-long score attacks.
Right.
With Last Gladiator 9.7.
Perfect. Okay.
So there you go. Get yourselves all set up with a couple of digital pinball games here, and this will be much different from the last couple community challenges because those were more racing games. The first one was a pure racing game, and that was Sega Touring Car Championship.
Right.
And then the second one was kind of like a mix between racing and score attack, and that was Steep Slope Sliders. So this is pinball. This is a very different.
Oh yeah.
See, when I see a lot of young boys that play silver ball from Soho down to Brighton, they probably play them all.
So yeah, I think pinball's a great choice, and I mean these games are some of the best pinball games ever made. Much less, you know, they're the best pinball games on Saturn. Shiro did do a pinball episode. I recommend folks check it out if they don't know much about. It was a fun one. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We found some new pinball games that we didn't know about, but I think it was unanimous.
I don't know what makes them so good.
It was unanimous across the board that we all thought the digital pinball games were like the best. Nothing else comes close, you know. So but
they're still kind of obscure games, right? Like not everybody who's into Saturn right now is necessarily play these pinball games.
I would say that like hardcore Saturn fans, they know, but yeah, like your casual Saturn fans who are just, you know, like getting into the console recently and stuff like that may not have dipped their toe into the digital pinball games. And I mean, they're not only do they control amazingly and they look awesome and they're in high res mode and I believe 60 frames per second, but also they have awesome music from like John Petrucci from Dream Theater on the Necronomicon one. And then
soundtrack is rocking.
On the Last Gladiator soundtrack is amazing too, but it's mostly like
John did both of them, or did he only do Necronomicon?
He did Necronomicon, but they had like J-Rock stuff. It's not ex-Japan, but it's like there's some like J-Rock bands on the first one, Last Gladiators, but still lots of like face melting guitar solos and stuff like that.
Nice.
So it's good stuff. Yeah. So yeah, download a copy of 9.7 if you don't already own it. That's what we're going to be playing with. Is there any way? Do they know how to like determine whether folks are playing on 9.7 as opposed to the original one?
I didn't see them mention anything about that.
Yeah,
we cut off their thumbs if they play the.
So you know, folks are going to be checking out both. Like, is there any advantage to playing the first one?
I don't know. If people get really hardcore into it, maybe they will.
People get really hardcore.
Trusting everybody to be cool about this.
We are trusting everybody. Just be cool. But yeah, enjoy the challenge. Come join our Discord community if you aren't already. Can you guys drop a link? Oh, Pudgy already did it. Join our Discord. It's right there in the comments. So
it's up at the top, pinned.
I assume everybody's probably already a member, but if you're not, come join us and be a part of the Saturn conversation and participate in this May community challenge. It'll be amazing.
Yeah, should be fun. And thanks once again to Moose Track, who's going to be providing the prizes in the form of custom patches themed to digital pinball. So. Hello, Historic Nerd. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Historic Nerd.
Sorry, the CDI is garbage. My bad. Maybe.
My God.
Maybe not buy it. I did see it at Game On Expo. So
I'd buy that for $1 though. No, I honestly I wouldn't.
I'd break it for $1.
I wouldn't mind having having a CDI. I just mind paying for it. But
yeah, I ain't paying that much for it. Oh, how dare you? Sorry, I offended him. We're losing him now. He's leaving the chat.
He's gone.
Oh well, there goes another bridge burnt by Patrick.
Yeah, I told Tom Charnock that the Atari Jaguar was not great either. Yeah, he was not a fan of. I'm sure he's not a fan of me. But I was like,
the Jaguar only has 2 games on it, but at least the CDI at least has 3 games.
It's like I want to love the Jaguar. I want to love the CDI. It's just so hard. But
honestly, no, I'll be controversial. If I'd pick CDI or Jaguar, CDI just because of the YouTube poop potential. That's all that saves it.
No, there's actually some fun games on CDI. I'm not gonna lie, but they're few and far in between though. That's all.
I mean, they have the Thunder, right? Was it the Thunder one with Hulk Hogan? Birds of Something in Paradise?
Yes. Wait, before we go too far with this, is there anything else you want to say, Dan, about the community challenge?
About the challenge.
Yeah.
I was going to mention something else. I mean, besides thanks to Moose Track for buying the prizes, but thanks to Double Dime, a Sega RPG fan, Gregory Rasputin, Random, and Scheiden for organizing the May Community Challenge and all the community challenges, which will be every other month going forward. So big thanks to all of them for all their hard work discussing these and testing games out and coming up with the graphics and the communication and all that.
Absolutely. So, and thanks to Cecil for writing it up. Appreciate it.
Yes, and thank you to Cecil for writing the story. Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Thank
you,
Cecil. So everybody, after the stream is over, go over to Shadow Mask's Twitch channel and watch the movie later tonight. I think it probably starts at 9:00. We're watching Johnny Mnemonic.
Johnny Mnemonic.
I have to say,
nice.
I am like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to face this one because I remember being a little kid when that movie came out, and I was in like a store or something, we're out and about, and like a commercial or a trailer or something for Johnny Mnemonic was on TV. It was like on a bunch of TVs. Whoa. And there's like a shot from that trailer where like Keanu Reeves' head is being like ducked into like someone else's face and it's being like stretched out. And that was like a horror show to me when I was a little kid. Like that freaked me out. It's still in my brain. Like I've never watched that movie and I was like so freaked out.
It's really good.
I too saw it when I was very young, and the laser whip that just like cuts people in half. It was kind of.
I didn't know about that.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, the brain can only hold a couple gigabytes too, so that was weird.
Oh, right, yeah. The brain hemorrhaging from too much data. Yeah, no.
I don't know if I can take this one.
It's kind of a terrible movie. It's like it's so bad it's good kind of thing, but I love that movie. It's another one of those.
So kind of like Hackers.
Oh,
your favorite game
like
Hackers, but good
movie. It's like if you love Hackers and you love. Yeah, it's like Hackers meets The Matrix. It's very.
Unfortunately, it's not like Swordfish.
It's very cheesy.
Is gonna be my hands down favorite hacking movie, but.
Yeah, but Swordfish is too. Yeah, it's just. Yeah, I love the cheesiness of Johnny Mnemonic. It's very cheesy.
Yeah, I definitely. If I had to make a ranking, it would be probably Swordfish, Johnny Mnemonic, then Hackers.
Yeah. So do we got a link for that? Do we have a link in the? Okay, yeah, we do. Awesome. So yeah,
scroll away.
We're not doing it.
I'll pin it. Give me a second.
Shadowbot 87.
So yeah, we're not doing it. Pat's not doing a game stream tonight. So if you have your popcorn and you have your pizza or whatever, just head on over to Shadow Mask's VHS stream. It's fun because he's streaming it off of VHS.
An hour and a half. Yeah, they're always off of VHSs,
right?
So you kind of get that retro feel.
Absolutely.
I like
4x3, right? Is it pan and scan? Yeah, I think it would be.
Depends on the movie.
Yeah.
Come on, you don't got no widescreen.
Intentionally worse quality. Yes, intentionally worse quality. No, I used to be like when I was a kid, we had a copy of Ben-Hur. And it was letterboxed, and that blew my mind. I was like, "Oh God!" It's like, but my dad had to. But at first I thought it was bad. I was like, how come the top and bottom are cut off, you know? And he had to explain to me, he's like, no, you're actually seeing more of the image. But yeah, it kind of blew my mind.
I've never had a problem with black bars on the tops and bottoms of things. That's never bothered some people. It drives them nuts. And for me, I'm just like, I'm looking at the image that's actually there, you know? That's what I'm
kind of like now that the widescreen stuff, they kind of got rid of that. So now with all the flat screens and everything being widescreen, they kind of got rid of the letterbox thing, because it's weird to watch it's really weird to watch a DVD on like a flat screen TV and there's a letterbox on tops of it being a widescreen format.
Oh right, yeah. It's exactly. But
it's really weird. It's strange. Like that's the thing I like about this BVM though. I don't have to put on a wide thing. It's already wide, so it's like no black bars, all deliciousness.
James, did you
yum?
Were you trying to?
I just you're talking about like widescreen. I don't know if you're old enough to remember whenever Star Wars it was one of the first runs of like VHSs that were brought out in widescreen.
Oh, I remember those.
And at the start of them, they had this really hilarious, cheesy kind of movie voiceover guy, and they showed you've only seen part of the story, but now it's in widescreen, and then they showed you all the extra. It was like, what was it? The slogan?
Is that the movie trailer, dude?
As it's meant to be seen, they said.
Right, like, you see like a tiny little CRT, and they're like, since 1977, you've watched Star Wars like this, you know, and then it like pans out to the whole screen. Isn't it funny like how they used to try to market stuff like that, like DVD, for example, marketing DVD to people who are watching it on a VHS, you know, the trailers before the film, you'd load up a VHS tape and it would be like DVD, ching, ching, you know, like
and stuff
and be like explode. Like, how do you convey that it's better quality when it's still on shitty VHS, right? So they'd use a lot of like sharp like sword sounds and stuff like that, and like it's high definition, you know, but you're still watching it in low definition.
Yes, I always the 480p format. I guess technically it's enhanced definition at 480p.
Like that, the idea was like, just imagine how much better this would be if you were actually watching it on DVD. They used to do the same thing in the 90s for games. Like, this is how you would feel if you were playing a Sega Saturn, you know?
It's like
Instead of just showing the gameplay, it's like this guy like pinned to a wall with his hair like shocked and everything like that. Yeah. You're gonna be blown away by Sega Saturn or whatever.
You don't own a Sega CD? What do you wait for Nintendo to make one?
To make one? Exactly.
We have seen the games, right?
90s marketing was all about attitude and like trying to sell an idea of how you would feel if you were playing the games, rather than just like, this is what the game looks like. Isn't it awesome? Like they would actually show very, very few little cuts of like gameplay, but everything else was just like completely arbitrary and off the wall. Yeah, I love
crazy
it.
Saturn airplane ad.
So bad it's good.
I still think my favorite ad's the was it the Mario Kart versus the Genesis one? It's like Mario Kart's like this wimpy kart, and like just like the Genesis like this giant like F1 racer thing strapped to it.
Yeah, the ice cream truck. It was like an ice cream truck with an old like wood grain TV like strapped to the back. You know, and then you're right, the dragster. It was like a drag racer. Yeah, blast processing.
That's the one of my favorite commercials.
Well, is that our show, everybody? Should we name our patrons?
We definitely should name our patrons. We love our patrons. You guys make so much possible. And without further ado, I will go ahead and you guys make it all happen. You make the magic happen. So we got A Murder of Crows. We got Blue Moon 95, Casual Seth, Cerulean, Chris Piper, Chris 1997 Double X. We got Daniel Fredrickson, David Zaney, Derek Pascarella, A-Team, shouts for the Jung Rhythm. And we got Emerald Nova, Fat Drunk Friend Otaku, Gem Clash or Rank, Ian Keg, Jay Hersey, Johannes Fetz, Lion Wing Publishing, Momdu or Momphis. We got Normal Guy, Newt Rages, Robert Ramsey, Rowan Dinked, Sega Steve, Stoneman, The illustrious Sega guys. Shouts for the latest video.
Shouts out
Loved
Sega
it.
guys.
And I guess how Pat would say this would be Jung money sweet. Let's call it Jung money sweet.
Jung money sweet.
Jung money sweet. We love you guys. Thanks so much for supporting SHIRO and making awesome stuff happen, keeping the lights on. For those of you who can't afford to support us financially, you can just support us, give us moral support. Be a part of our community.
Yeah.
Be our friends.
Subscribe, downvote us.
Do whatever. Yeah, just don't be absent. Come over to the SHIRO Discord and hang out and join our community challenges or the online tournaments. Right now, like Dan mentioned, we're doing Puzzle Bobble 3, and the bracket is full. We've got a full bracket, but there'll be another. I think now we've got like a pitch clock, basically, right? Like every week. Yeah. And I say pitch clock hypothetically.
Each pairing you have 1 week to schedule your match and then 1 week to actually do it.
To execute it, yeah.
It's like to kind of keep it moving.
So we know when it's going to end then, hypothetically, right? We'll have like
as long as there are no delays.
As long as there are no delays. Well, I mean, if you'll just default out of it, right? If you don't don't schedule your match, you basically drop.
Go for a couple of months.
It's probably a good idea too that Double Diamond instituted that, because before that we would have when is this Bomberman tournament gonna end? So
long stretches.
But
that was on me. My bad, dudes.
Yeah, it was completely Pat's fault.
It was.
No, but we'll have another. Recording. This is the sixth online tournament that we've done, and there are 14 games supported. I guess some of them are duplicates on the US side, but anyway, there's at least 10, 10 or 12 original Saturn games online. Yeah. So we're going to have plenty more online tournaments. Get your guys selves online.
Dave, before you go, can you play the Shadow Mask video in the chat?
Play the Shadow Mask video in
the... They did a new credits FMV they made for Jung Rhythm.
He linked it,
Jung.
You want me to play it on the stream?
Yeah.
How do I? Okay.
Just
open it up in the web browser.
Open it in the web browser. Okay, I'll try that. Give me a second.
Not many people are gonna get to see it. It'd be a cute finisher. Okay.
Like,
I'll try to move out of the way here.
Copy that.
I hate when the kids eat the skin off the KFC. That's the best part. A lot of people disagree, but a lot of people are wrong.
So he posted that in the chat.
Put it on the chat,
In the chat,
At the very, very bottom, like
YouTube
recent.
Chat.
Okay, let me see here.
It says, "Can you guys play one more video?"
I can try. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, so let's just copy the link and go over to the browser here. I'll bring it back up.
I'm with you, Captain. Just sell Skin Bucket. Call it the skin ticket.
All right, here goes.
The hell was in the way of Malenka's name? I'm so sorry.
Mr. Chorking. We love ecology.
Who doesn't?
Love it.
That was cool.
That's
awesome.
I'm
surprised you guys put your name in the credits as well, like at the end.
I wish we could have found a way to do that in Bulk Slash.
There
just wasn't enough memory.
That's fair.
It kept crashing.
Be good to the earth. We did at the start. Oh, I missed that. Sorry.
You couldn't even like embed it in an image or something like that.
No, those are all in subs. Yeah. Actually,
but with Bulk Slash, no, that's all. It's like all that lettering, all the credits at the end of Bulk Slash are like one gigantic image that gets loaded into RAM, and you cannot make it much bigger because then RAM gets filled up and things are
corrupted. It was at the beginning. Sorry about that.
I gotcha.
Yeah, so his name was
Yeah,
in there.
yeah.
Yeah, so they actually did put the credits names on there, so they are actually in the credits. That's really cool.
Cool.
Sweet. Good job.
Sasquatch says it's kind of a tradition now that I get fried chicken on Friday night and eat it while watching Shiro.
Shiro fried chicken Fridays,
I kind of wish I had fried chicken. We're doing pizza still because it's Friday, but yeah, fried chicken sounds
I'm smelling
good.
the pork loin that's in the oven. It's smelling pretty good. It's about
I
ready
want some
to
Korean
come out, I think.
barbecue.
Ooh, that sounds good too. So get your Korean barbecue and your fried chicken and go on over and watch some Johnny Mnemonic on the Shadow Mask stream.
About an hour.
And we'll all see you later. This is Saturn Dave, Dan
next
Thrax,
week
and
on the
Trainico reminding you that you must play Sega Saturn.
Perfect.
Wait, no.
Timing. It's always the timing. Anyway, okay.
Timing.
See you later, guys. Peace.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks for
Bye.
watching. Bye.
SHIRO Saturn, SHIRO!